It's been a long time coming, but I know.
Hey y'all, this is KP. You listen to Real Deal Sports Talk with me, KP.
The time finally here. It's finally time to share the rhymes that we prepared. We took our time and we finally here. I know a lot of y'all probably thinking our time was spent, but we decided it's time to show these rhymers what time it is. Some old timers that's back for the first time again to put a spanking on little niggas who think they rhyming sick. It's vivid, scientific, ripping with Dawn Banks. Here to dominate any microphone within arm's length. We're officially putting rappers on short notice. From this point forward, we're serving niggas like court orders. Cause all that lame shit they're playing has got the game distorted. There's so many whack niggas, I don't know where to aim my target.
And with that being said, I introduce myself. I am KP. This is Real Deal Sports Talk with me, KP. Thanks for listening. It is January 20th, 2018. I was going to save this topic for the end of the show. We got sports to get to. This is a sports show. But again, we are at a heated time in this country in politics, and I will forever use my platform and my voice to try and improve and try and make better and try and bring together and make understanding. And there was a lot going on today. We had the Women's March 2018. I'm proud to say that I marched again this year. Government shut down. And politics are crazy right now. This country is divided. People are not using their intelligence. People are not using their brains. I sit back and I read these comments on social media and I see how manipulated all of us are. I see how manipulated, how controlled, how scared all of us are in this country. To be different, to accept different, to let people be free. To have a choice. To be better, to be progressive, to move forward, to not be stuck in old white Christian male ways. Stop making excuses for this bullshit. It is not okay to be a racist. It is not okay to be discriminatory. It's fine to not understand. It's fine to have a different opinion, to live your life a different way, to be different than your neighbor. It is not okay to pass blame. It is not okay to be rude and evil and ugly. To be a bully. To impose yourself on another person sexually. To take away rights because they don't go with how you live your life. And then you want to rep and get mad at people and say this is the land of the free. If you don't like it, move to another country. Fool. You are not representing what this country stands for. You are representing your own personal lifestyle. The government shutting down. Anybody who wants to blame that on anybody but the Democrats, I'm sorry, but you are misguided. You cannot control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, where you have final vote. You have the tie-breaking vote in every vote that happens. And not get enough votes, and you're going to blame somebody else? Your own people are telling you they don't want it. As a whole, the people of this country don't want it. Is there a small sect of brain-dead, manipulated sheep in this country that have lost the ability to think for themselves and live in a world of fear where it's okay to be hateful? That buy into that crap? Sure. But I challenge each and every one of my listeners. Go do something good today. Put a smile on somebody's face. Say hi to somebody you normally don't talk to. Step out of your comfort zone. And yes, I'm heated right now. I'm passionate about this. I would not call myself a patriot. I've said that before. I like people. I think all people are the same. We were just lucky enough to be born in different places and have different experiences. We were lucky enough not all to be the exact same person. Because I don't know about you, but I ain't out there trying to find a wife or a girlfriend or a partner that's the same as me. I like females. My wife's gorgeous. If she looked like me and thought like me, I would not be down with that. Neither would you. And if half of y'all took the time to just breathe and think and turn off, yes, the idiot box, the TV, and research and think and go, you know what, yeah, that worries me, that scares me, but I'm going to understand it better. I'm not going to get my knowledge from a news station, whichever news station you want. I don't care if you like Fox News, MSNBC, CNN. Your news is manipulated. You have anchors that are telling a story based on the way the producer tells them to tell it. That producer is telling his anchors what to do based on the way his executive producer is telling him to do it. That executive producer has a station manager who's telling him what to do. That station manager has a CEO who's telling him what to do. That CEO has big money billionaires and the FCC telling him how to do it. Those big money billionaires have political party figures or world leaders telling them what to do. All of your news, if you're not going to multiple sources and you're not comparing facts and finding real stuff, is manipulated. So stop bashing CNN, stop bashing Fox, stop bashing all this nonsense. They're all equally as bad. The Democrats are as bad as the Republicans. They just don't have the power right now. So a majority of the country, we want to focus our energy on that. It's time to be done with focusing our energy on how divisive we can be. Because people, we are our own worst enemies. We can be the most divisive thing, the most destructive, the most evil, backhanded, greedy, selfish, loathsome creatures on this planet. We can also be the best. But that takes you giving of yourself for someone else. I read comments today about, oh, the government shut down because Democrats care more about illegals than they do homeless people in this country. No, not once was that ever said, or is that the point of what's going on. This is not a battle about homelessness. We are not, in fact, we are cutting programs for the homeless thanks to 45. And no, nobody's making up, big efforts about that. We got groups here and there that do stuff in this country for the homeless, but we don't take care of our own first. That's not who we've been since World War II. We like to go impose ourselves in other places and act like we're this great thing. It is time to step up, each and every one of us, myself included, and be better than we were yesterday. I will not leave this place bad for my daughter, for my nephews, for my friends' kids. And I will debate anybody up and down the street. I will help you understand that you are right, that I am right, and we can both be who we are. Women's March today, Denver, great turnout. I was glad I was there. It was glad that many people can come together for a single consciousness, even though we are all different people. We're not making excuses. We want change. We want it to be better. We want to move forward. We don't want to live in the past. We don't want to revert back to the way things were. It is time to be better. Women's March 2018. Much respect. Now, this is a sports show. Let's talk about some sports. We got Championship Sunday this weekend. Championship Sunday. I was listening this week and I heard, God, I can't remember the player's name now, but I heard a former Chad Brown. It was Chad Brown, actually. I heard Chad Brown this week telling a story. He's talking on the radio about this is his favorite time of year in the NFL season. Best football, gets him the most excited. And I'm listening to him talk about it, and I'm thinking, okay, what's my favorite time? Do I get super excited for the preseason? Is it the first regular season game? Is it the first Lions nationally televised game? Is it the Super Bowl? Is it the beginning of the playoffs? What exactly is that time for me? And the more I thought about it, and the more I listened to Chad talk about it, the more I realized, yes, I agree with Chad Brown a lot. This is one of the best weekends of the NFL season. you have the most best, like, this is not even going to be proper grammar, but you have the most best games all at one time. Now, what I mean by that is, you have the most amount, the total number of the best quality games all happening on the same day. Not only that, but then the winners of this game go on to the championship game. It marks that catalyst to the next excitement. So you have that connected to this game, this championship Sunday as well. Then you look at the teams that you have every year. Now again, we have the Patriots this year, and I know for a lot of sports fans out there, that's a big problem. They're sick of the Patriots winning. They've labeled the Patriots cheaters. We've talked about that on the show before. If you're only labeling them a cheater, you ain't looking hard enough at your team, because I guarantee you, all 32 teams find a way to bend the rules. You only got a problem with it because they've been successful. They've won Super Bowls. They've dominated for almost 20 years. So it's easier to point the finger and be ugly than it is to just respect the game. I like that New England's dominant. That means I get excited every time Detroit gets to play them. I want my team to beat them, because I know that's one of the best. And if my team can go out and beat one of the best, that means we might be in the running to be the best. It's a competition thing. I'd rather compete. Some fans don't want to compete. They rather just, have a team fall off, or they only won because they're cheaters, or Tom Brady's a crybaby, or blah, blah, blah. Well, stop being jealous. Your team ain't good enough. And if they were, they'd be there. I'm a Lions fan. Been a Lions fan for going on almost 30 years. We have not been good enough to be there. In our best years, we got close. Back in 92, got to the NFC Championship game. The year we had the number 2 defense just a couple years ago with Sue and them boys. Got close, but the refs, we all know what happened. Go ahead and let Bobby Wagner smack the ball out of the back of the end zone. But it happens. You don't make excuses. You go out and get better. You challenge yourself. You don't sit in your own self-pity and cry. Get up, dust yourself off, go get better. Go get yourself a championship. For years, I played baseball. I played sports year-round. For years and years, I played baseball. We never sniffed the playoffs. The only way we saw a championship game is if we decided to go watch the other teams play. My final year of baseball, we got to the championship game. Hard fought game between the Wildcats and the Rams. And we had a lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning. They had the winning run on second, tying run on third. 1 out left in the game. Or 1 out in the inning. So 2 outs left in the game that we had to get. We got them. We got those 2 outs. Nobody scored. And I tell you what. Taking that time to get better each and every year. Having to get over the hurdle of the Rams and the Raiders in baseball. And earning it made it all that much better. Felt better. Felt so much better earning it and beating that top team. Letting competition take place than it did to just write it off as, oh, it's something they did. It's not me. And that's something we all need to do. That's something I was ranting about in the political part earlier. We all need to step up and stop doing this nonsense of it's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else. If it wasn't for what they did. Own your choices, people. Own your choices. You'll be much happier. Back to Championship Sunday. We got New England and Jacksonville this weekend. And we got Minnesota and Philly in the nightcap. Both games tomorrow. Locally, 1 o'clock and 4:40 start times. If we look at these teams' total offense in the playoffs, we could look at the regular season stats, but regular season doesn't really play into the playoffs and how you're going to play. Not to me, anyway. That gets you to the playoffs. That gives you that chance. But not necessarily where you're going to be. So if you look at total offense right now in the postseason of the 4 teams that are left, New England's ranked 2, Minnesota's 4, Philly's at 7, and Jacksonville's at 10. Okay? New England's averaging about 438 yards a game. They are taking on Jacksonville, who's averaging about 304 yards a game. Great running game. Minnesota's at 403 a game, taking on Philly, who's at 334s. Obviously, big thing there, no Carson Wentz, right? So then you look at the defense in the playoffs. Where are these teams at defensively in the playoffs? Well, overall defense in the playoffs, the Patriots are second. Now, that's where Jacksonville finished the regular season. In the playoffs, Jacksonville is the 10th ranked defense right now. Minnesota's at 6, and Philly's coming in at 3. So these are teams, at this point, these are all teams that are balling out. These are all teams that are having some stuff break their way. We all saw how Minnesota got over on the Saints at the end of the game last week and what happened there. And these are going to be 2 great games. I mean, great games. Jacksonville's defense is leading them. The running game is solid. New England is New England. Plug a player in. Now, New England, hey, we got all this coaching talk going on in New England right now. Josh McDaniels is supposedly going to be the Colts head coach. Matt Patricia's supposedly moving on to the Detroit Lions. You got a linebackers coach who might be leaving. The turmoil with Belichick, Brady, and all that nonsense. Maybe this is the complete unraveling of New England, and this young, fast, stud defense Jacksonville has is going to be too much for them. I can see that being the outcome. I can see the hunger of that defense in Jacksonville. They want it. They see the plate of cookies, and they are going for it. But that's where coaching comes in the playoffs. And Belichick, by far, has the experience over Doug Marrone. Now, this week, all of a sudden, the talk went from Eli Manning beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl to Tom Coughlin beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, which is fine. He's working for Jacksonville. You got to have a storyline. But Tom Coughlin didn't do anything. He didn't. He didn't call the offensive plays that won the game. He didn't call the defensive plays that won the game. He didn't catch the ball on David Tyree's helmet. Only the players get credit for that. Only the players. Now, legacy-wise, fine. Tom Coughlin can have that as part of his legacy. But that is not something he gets credit for, beating the Patriots in 2 Super Bowls. Minnesota and Philly. Is Nick Foles going to come out like he played last week, this week, and be on fire? And be like the 2011, 2012 Nick Foles? Can Minnesota put together a full game, not let a team come back, and not have to rely on flat-out miracle to win the game? These are going to be great games. It's going to come down to a matter of just this and that. For me, the New England-Jacksonville game comes down to quarterbacks. Quarterbacks. I fully expect Belichick to go, you know what, Bortles is going to have to beat us. I expect him to load up on the running game, take Leonard Fournette out, TJ Yeldon out of the game. They are going to try and make Blake Bortles beat the New England Patriots. And if it comes down to a Blake Bortles versus Tom Brady as to who's going to make the mistake that could cost their team, My money's on Brady. I think Bortles could be the piece that causes Jacksonville this game. Now again, like I said, I very much could see Jacksonville's young stud, hungry defense being enough to stop the Patriots' dink and dunk short passing game offense. I really can. I still am not convinced with Philly. I'm not. I haven't been all season. Color me red if they win. But my picks for this weekend, Championship Sunday, I'm taking New England to beat Jacksonville. Comes down to Brady versus Bortles for me. And I'll take Brady over Bortles every time. And I will take Minnesota to not only beat Philly in Philly, but to go home and be the first team to host a Super Bowl. I think Minnesota's defense gets it done. I think Case Keenum is as good as his former teammate in St. Louis, Nick Foles, who he backed up for a season. And Philly's got a good defense. Good front seven, anyway. Well, front four. I'm not sold on most of Philly's linebackers. Kendricks is pretty solid. The rest of the guys, they do what they can. And I'm not sold on Philly's secondary at all. They've played pretty good this year, but to me, they're playing above their talent level right now. So I'll take Minnesota and the magic run they are on right now, representing the NFC North, to go on and host the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. Which, mind you, some people already out there, conspiracy theorists, say that these games tomorrow are rigged because the NFL Super Bowl page shows Tom Brady and Case Keenum on the page. Meaning the Patriots and the Vikings, it's predetermined they're going to be the ones in the Super Bowl. That's not why I made my picks, but that is who I will go with for this weekend. I will take New England and Minnesota. Now that brings us to what matchup actually would be the best matchup in the Super Bowl. And there's 4 possible outcomes here. You can have New England versus either Philly or Minnesota. Or you can have Jacksonville versus Philly or Minnesota. Now let's look at all 4 of those matchups. New England versus Philly. Okay, good storyline. New England beat Philly with Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid screwing up clock management like nobody could have ever believed happened in a Super Bowl. Terrell Owens doing everything he could on a broken ankle to help try and beat the Patriots and almost single-handedly got the Eagles to win that game. So, storyline there. Repeat performance in the Super Bowl. No Carson Wentz. Can Nick Foles get it done? Will Brady win his 6th? I mean, he spent almost his entire NFL career either in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl at this point. Now, let that sink in for a minute. Then you got New England versus Minnesota. Mind you, New England's the only team left in the playoffs that's won a Super Bowl. Philly has not won a Super Bowl. They've been in it. Minnesota has not won a Super Bowl. They've been in it. Jacksonville has not been in a Super Bowl, so they couldn't have won a Super Bowl. So New England versus Minnesota, what's the draw there? Well, okay, you've got Minnesota hosting the Super Bowl. You've got the big, bad empire of the New England Patriots coming into their house to try and win another Super Bowl. The miracle run the Vikings are on with the play against the Saints. And all of that going into it. Okay, good storyline there. Jags versus Philly. 2 young, fly-around, physical defenses. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to come after the quarterback. Could be a great defensive game as far as that goes. Now, if you want defensive games, you probably want to see Jacksonville versus Minnesota. 2 of the top defenses at the end of the regular season this year. Minnesota and Jacksonville. I believe they were 1-2 or 2-3. One of those things. And I got to say, Jacksonville versus Minnesota probably would be my second choice for a Super Bowl pick. I obviously have already put in my picks. It's New England versus Minnesota. But Jacksonville, Minnesota would probably be my second choice. Mostly because it's the second matchup that I would most like to see. Well, actually, it's the matchup I would most like to see because I'm a defensive guy. I just don't know if Bortles and Doug Marrone have what it's going to take to win an AFC Championship game. Jags and Philly, that one doesn't just... I mean, as a football fan, a fan of the game, I would watch that game, but I'm not as excited for that game. That's a ho-hum. Nobody really knows these two teams. There's not a lot of excitement storyline-wise between these two teams. We'd have to make up some stories and drag up some stuff to make that game exciting. Outside of fans of Jacksonville and Philly, obviously. Philly fans would go berserk if they make it to another Super Bowl. And, I might put this question out there as a poll for you guys this week and the show we do before the Super Bowl. I might, or next weekend, actually, in the bye week, playoff bye week, give the results there. Because I'd like to see what everybody out there thinks about this question, which matchup they would like to most see. So, yeah, I think I'll put that out there. I'll put that out there on the Facebook page. I'll put it out on the Google+. I'll put it out on the Twitter. All the different avenues. I'll even throw the poll up on the website probably, realdealsportstalkwithkp.com. And next weekend we'll talk about this subject again, and we'll talk about it more specifically, who you guys all are more likely wanting to see play in the upcoming Super Bowl. Just coming down this afternoon, Mike Vrabel has signed on to be the new Tennessee Titans coach. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope everybody can go make somebody happy and do something that challenges themselves. Get out of your comfort zone. Get off of your phones. Let social media go for a couple hours. And remember, we're all people. Until next time, you know how we do. Just keep it real.
D-Town, can you vibe to this? A D-Town getting down to this. Can you get down to this? The party's rocking and the crowd was lit. The beats knocking in the sound system. And D-Town's in here. We hit the lick to get some crown to sit. The pivot's hitting like a pound of bricks. Took a powerful rip and felt like a time traveler trip. My mind drifting to the cloudy abyss. Till my chalice is sip. Chicks admire how I'm styling my fit. I acknowledge with the smile of a prince. Can tell I'm piling my chips. The party's rocking, everybody was bent. Nobody wildin', ain't no violence to hit. We all lounging for real. The smooth sounds got us vibing and shit. In D-Town, steady riding to this. Can you get down to this? The party's rocking and the crowd was lit. The beats knocking in the sound system. In D-Town's in here. We hit the lick to get some crown to sip. The pivot's hitting like a pound of brick. Can you get down to this? The party's rocking and the crowd is lit. The beats knocking in the sound system. In D-Town's in here. We hit the lick to get some crown to sip. The pivot's hitting like a pound of bricks. Can you get down to living life to